You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen? Why, it's Paranormal Portal time. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're having a great Saturday, and thank you so much for joining us here on the portal. We appreciate your presence ever so much, and hope you're having a great weekend all around. But it means a lot that you're dedicating a part of it to us here on the Paranormal Portal, and by us, I mean, of course, myself, and of course, the whole family of listeners, but also my big branch himself, Mr. Sheldon Thomas. How you doing?
Doing great. I'm that saying is, that title is growing onto me. Big branch. I like that. Thank you.
I think you gave it to yourself. You just kind of said, I'm the big branch or whatever. Yeah.
The fact that you've accepted it makes it even better.
Well, who am I to name you? I mean, I did it once years and years ago. So
True.
I guess it's okay if you name yourself as well. But welcome, everybody. We are, of course, going to be into 2 hours of the portal tonight. And good to see all you guys coming in the door as I've turned the lights on. And I don't know, is Portal Mom out there? Have you seen her say anything, Sheldon?
Not yet, but
yet.
I'm sure she'll be about shortly.
Yeah, probably. And hello to all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. We got a lot to get through tonight. A bunch of paranormal goodness, as always. And hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. You know what happened today, Sheldon?
What's that?
I was sitting here and I was thinking, I was kind of in a I don't know, kind of a humdrum moment in the day. I don't know why. I was just kind of thinking, and I guess I got a million things on my mind. So I was like, things were just feeling kind of heavy then. And all of a sudden, this swell of excitement came over me when I remembered there's a show tonight. And so, honest to God, I know that everybody that does the show says, oh, I love doing these shows. They're great. But honest to God, it's just really always a highlight of my days when we do shows. And so I just thought that was kind of cool that after 6 years, which maybe in the grand scheme of things isn't a long time, but that's a lot of shows. We're almost at 1,200 episodes on YouTube, on our YouTube channel right now. And that's a lot of portals. And the fact that, it's always evolving, it's always changing, but it's still just as exciting today as it was, when I first started doing it. And that's pretty cool. I must be on the right track, right?
I would think so. If you love what you do, and then it's not really work anymore, is it?
That's the old saying. You're absolutely right. But we have a bunch of stuff to get. Excuse me. To get. I was just like, that was like a hiccup burp at the same time. It's really weird. I don't know how that happened, but we got a lot of stuff to get to. But before we go any further, let me say thanks to our sponsor. And that, of course, is Cryptid Coin, ladies and gentlemen. It's a cryptocurrency with its heart in cryptid research and investigation. I don't know why paranormal keeps wanting to come out of my mouth. I guess cryptids are also paranormal, of course, because they're not normal. But Cryptid Coin is a newer option for those of you looking to get invested in cryptocurrencies. And I think it's a great opportunity personally, but I'm not an advisor, so I can't tell you like, hey, this is where you should put your money or not. That's up to you. But if you're looking for a possible cryptocurrency investments, this might be the one for you. I know I love it because it's right in our wheelhouse. It's right up our alley. So check them out. You can find out more information about Cryptid Coin by going to cryptidcoin.io. Again, that's cryptidcoin, all one word, .io, and see if it seems like a good fit for you. And it's available on PancakeSwap as well, so getting involved is always easier that way. So a special thank you to Cryptid Coin for helping to make the Paranormal Portal possible. And remember, cryptidcoin.io. Okay, Sheldon. Sheldon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you are. And ladies and gentlemen, if you see Sheldon's face and voice not in sync, it's because he's been rehearsing for kung fu movies. No.
Yeah. I think I'm ready.
Sheldon Lee. But no, it's because there's a synchronicity issue with the software that I used to put Sheldon on the screen, and for some reason there's a delay between the voice and the image, and I still haven't figured out how to straighten that out. So it's just makes it unique. But he is not pre-recorded; he's live as well, right?
Yeah, I sure am.
Or he's looking like you're overdubbed, like, oh, yeah. And it's like, hand me the salt. All right. So I don't even know what the hell that means. But anyway, how about some news? What do you think?
I think that's a great segue.
All right. Let's get to the news. And we're going to do that right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk as we dive into tonight's offerings of news and intrigue for your listening and viewing pleasures. Whether you're listening on TFR Live, iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live, or you're joining us live in our YouTube channel and watching the stream as it happens. But we're going to get into some news, so hopefully you learn something. And I don't know, I think knowledge is power, right, Sheldon? Isn't that what they say?
That's true. In this case, sometimes knowledge isn't power.
sometimes knowledge is full of things you'd rather not know. And sometimes that's the news. But the first article up for bat tonight here on the Paranormal Portal News is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Great site. Please check them out. Please support what they're doing. It's a phenomenal site. They do an amazing job encapsulating all kinds of different topics into real bite-sized morsels, and they have much longer offerings on there as well. So check them out. Again, unexplained-mysteries.com. And it's classified 1990 UFO photograph has surfaced 32 years on. And I suppose I can put a link in the TFR for those that are over there so they can see just what the hell I'm talking about, because it is a bit visual.
I saw this yesterday, I think.
Did you? Okay. Well, it's from August 13th, so it's newer. It says a photo taken by two men who spotted a strange object above Scotland in 1990 has finally been published. On August 4th of that year, two young chefs had been walking in the Cairngorms National Park near Perth when they spotted a strange diamond-shaped object in the sky nearby. Terrified, the men hid behind some bushes to observe the mysterious craft. A short time later, they heard the sound of RAF jet approaching. The plane seemed to change course and circle the UFO for a time before returning to its original course. Keen to take a photograph, one of the men aimed their camera at the sky and took a few snaps. A few seconds later, the object flew upwards into the heavens and was gone. Convinced that they had seen a UFO, the men passed their best photograph along to a local newspaper. However, it was promptly handed over to the Ministry of Defense and was never published. The image would stay classified, in fact, for over 30 years until it turned out that retired Royal Air Force officer Craig Lindsay had broken protocol by stashing a copy of it inside his desk. Now 83, he was only too happy to provide the image so that it could finally see the light of day. Intriguingly, it shows exactly what the two men had described, a diamond-shaped object hovering in the sky with the Royal Air Force jet visible circling it in the background. Exactly what the object could have been, however, continues to remain a mystery. It's a UFO. It's exactly what it is. That's really interesting. So it is a diamond shape, though, isn't it? That's a bit unusual. Usually, I don't know. I guess they can be whatever shape they are, but yeah, that's really a great photograph.
Yeah, it is, especially for that time. My God.
It's 1990, dude. It's not like the 1800s. You got the flash powder.
I'm just throwing a little shade at the 90s, you know.
Nice. Well, actually, it wasn't that long ago, really, in the whole scheme of things. But anyway, they had good cameras back then, too, Sheldon, believe it or not.
Yeah, that was 30 years ago.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, that helps. Thank you much. So I think it is a good photo. I mean, that really looks amazing. If that's what they saw, I think they saw a hell of a thing. That's great, and they got a photo of it as well. And it's not blurry. I mean, it's not digital quality, but it's really incredible. Great catch.
And it still looks like a saucer. It's got that saucer shape. You can see
Yeah, that's definitely not a balloon.
Nope, it's not a weather balloon. Nope.
Well, yeah, there you go. That is not swamp gas illuminating the lights of Venus either. So we can say that's a UFO. They caught a good one there, and then the Royal Air Force jet is circling it. Now, why did it fly away? Who knows? Maybe went, I'm not reporting this one. Maybe that's exactly what happened. He goes, nope, I'm noping out of here. And,
Nope, we got here too early.
yeah, exactly. But can't blame him. You don't want to be that guy, probably, especially in the 90s. That could have been career suicide for that pilot. He's like, nope, I didn't see that at all.
Nope.
All right. Well, there you go. There's a UFO. Great capture. Great picture. Glad it finally saw the light of day. And we can see it now. So it's more proof of this strangeness going on. Is it accidental? No, I don't think so. I think there's kind of a soft disclosure going on right now. And I think that these things are just filtering out because, I don't know, maybe they feel they can't keep it secret, or maybe they feel like there's too much going on for it to remain secret, so they might as well be a little more forthcoming and help to preserve whatever integrity they have left. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, I wonder about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of this stuff happens by accident. But then again, every government is run by human beings, and human beings are completely fallible and do some of the dumbest things, as well as some of the most amazing things. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on my species here, but excuse me.
I am. It's okay.
Nice, Sheldon. Yeah. Sheldon's going fish. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm going to get into water until I have gills. Might happen. That's how he's like reverse evolution, maybe. All right.
Go back. We need to go back.
I need flippers. I don't even, this is the kind of madness that goes in my head, ladies and gentlemen. It's all a mess up in here, let me tell you. All right, let's get to the next article, and this is from unexplained-mysteries.com as well, and this is it has to do with Nessie, believe it or not. Escaped alpacas spark Loch Ness monster sightings. And I got to put this in the TFR chat as well, because this is pretty funny. I mean, this does. I imagine if you were driving by, you'd be like, "Yeah, Nessie." That could,
oh my God,
that could scare the bejeezers out of you. I think I got to be here. Hold on, I'm gonna paste this in the TFR chat, quick, because Bam's over there, and by God, we got to keep Bam up on what's going on here in the news. Okay, so it says photographs. Photographs of a long-necked animal in Loch Ness have been doing the rounds, but not everything is as it seems. Back in the early 20th century, a group of elephants from a traveling circus went for a swim in the Loch Ness with their trunks protruding from the water. Unwary observers believed that they had seen Loch Ness Monster, and now, nearly 100 years later, something similar has happened. This time, however, the animals in question were not elephants. They were alpacas. Turns out that a small group of South American mammals had escaped last week from a nearby farm and had gone for a walk along the shoreline, much to the surprise of locals and tourists alike. When one of the animals decided to wade out into the water, the sight of its long neck protruding from the surface looked decidedly like one of the most famous images of the Loch Ness Monster. Herding them back along the beach again, Loch Ness alpacas wrote on Facebook. When was this one from? This is brand new. There's a broken link here, though, for some reason. So they came back for a second visit, but refused to show me how they got through that fence. Ended up having to herd them up the hill and back to their other paddock with no lock access. Well, there you go. Yeah, apparently there was a video or something at some point, but it has since been blocked for our viewing pleasure. But yeah, those alpacas, man, they can create a buzz wherever they go.
I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the elephant story is interesting, too. I'd never heard of that. But it makes sense. I mean, if I saw an elephant swimming in the lake out here, I'd be like, nah. You know, I mean, you would. Yeah. Well, up here, they call it the Ponderay Paddler. The Ponderay Paddler, which is about...
Do they actually?
They do. That's the name of it up here. And it's an interesting name. But then again, where we're from, Sheldon, they had Peppy. Because it was Lake Pepin, so they called it Peppy.
Oh, yeah. True.
Somebody should be selling stuffed Peppies down there, like stuffed animals. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, I'm sure there's a market for it.
There is. I'm telling you. There's all this untapped markets, ladies and gentlemen. And if anybody listening decides to do that, then I only require a small percentage. Let's get to the next article here, and this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Car thief hides from police inside giant teddy bear.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, some of those teddy bears are huge. He just crawled right inside it. That's awesome. I mean, that's horrible. You shouldn't steal cars and stuff, but you gotta admit, sometimes these things are. I mean, of course they're tragic, and people want to steal things or whatever. But you gotta laugh a little bit because that's pretty clever. Keen to avoid arrest, one inventive 18-year-old decided to cram his entire body inside of a large stuffed toy. According to a recent report by Greater Manchester Police, 18-year-old Joshua Dobson, who'd been wanted for months for a string of offenses, including stealing a car, was caught after an officer noticed a large bear breathing during a search of a house in Rochdale. It turned out that the culprit had torn open a hole in the underside of the 5-foot teddy bear and crawled inside so that when the police searched the property, it would look as though nobody was there. His ruse seemed to be working until it became apparent that the bear was moving. Police officers were quick to make light of the bizarre situation. Our neighborhood task force and divisional tasking team at Rochdale could barely believe what they stumbled across in searching for a wanted man last month, they wrote on Facebook. He's now stuffed behind bars. And after being sentenced last week for theft of a motor vehicle, driving while disqualified, and making off from a petrol station without payment. Hopefully, he has a bearable time inside. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, he ripped out the south end of that thing and crawled in. Jeez. Well, I'm not going to go after that anymore. I'm leaving that alone.
Yeah, let's not.
We're going to stay away from that one. But yeah. That's one manner of doing it. There's one video that I caught. I don't know if it's staged or not, but this guy was like trying to avoid the police. He was broken into a place, and he went into this storage room, and I can't remember what he did. He put something over the top part of his body, and just his legs were out. I think it was like a one of those cardboard cutout stand-up things. We kind of threw it over himself, and it's only his legs were there, and they came into their flashlights and looked around and didn't see him, and then left, and then you could see him whip it off then and try to get out the window or something. It was pretty bizarre.
I saw that. I want to say it's real. I don't know if it is though, but yeah, I know the video you're talking about.
Yeah, it's pretty humorous. If it isn't real, it's very clever. If it's real, man, that's getting creative. But anyway, what is this one? Oh yeah, this is brand new as well. Let's see. This is the next one up for dibs here on the Paranormal Portal News, and this is, here it goes. Mysterious Palmyra, Lord of the Universe deity identified. I didn't even know there was a question of him, but
what?
Yeah. The mystery of an unknown god referenced in inscriptions in the ancient city of Palmyra has been finally solved. Situated in the modern-day Syria, the ancient city, which served as a center for trade and flourished during the time of the Roman Empire around 2,000 years ago, has long been the interest to archaeologists. And one of the most enduring mysteries has been the identity of an unknown deity referenced in various inscriptions and referred to as He Whose Name is Blessed Forever, or Lord of the Universe. Now, though, the mystery may have finally been solved thanks to the work of Alexandra Kubiak-Schneider, a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Wrocław in Poland. By comparing the inscriptions with those found in ancient Mesopotamia, she was able to determine that the deity being referenced is most likely not a single god, but several. These multiple deities included Bel-Marduk and Baal-Shamin, were referenced collectively, but not directly as a sign of respect by the people at the time. According to Kubiak-Schneider, those who wrote the inscriptions may have been reaching out not to a specific god, but to any who would listen to their prayers. There was no one anonymous god. Every god who listened or showed favor to requests deserved an eternal praise, she told Live Science. Well, that's interesting. That was, of course, during that time, I don't know what part of the Roman Empire that was, but was it prior to Constantine when it would have been the whole pantheon of gods, or was it post-Constantine when there was, the adherence to Christianity? I don't know.
2,000 years ago, so
Well, no, that would have been, if it was 2,000
that would have been
ago.
During Christ's time, wouldn't it have been? Because
yeah,
it isn't
roughly
stated that he died when it was like 40 AD because it was 0 is when he was born.
I don't know if it's if there's any
Something
exact,
like that.
but you're right. That would have been about during the time. So it would have been a pantheon of gods that were observed in many cultures at that time. So that's not really unique, but sounds like they were just like, hey, who's ever listening? Like, just call, a random phone call to somebody. Hey, you got $5?
Whoever's listening. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of neat. I don't know. I think it's interesting that maybe they have solved that, but I think that stuff is I don't know. It's kind of like just a glimpse back in time, and that to think of what life must have been like. I always find that fascinating. I mean, what would you do without the internet, Sheldon? I mean, come on, really?
Oh man, I know. We'd be lost.
Your whole life, you've had the internet, haven't you? I mean, I didn't always let you use it, but you had it.
It was always available. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in my lifetime, of course, it definitely wasn't for a large portion of my life, and then it suddenly came into being, and the rest is history. But I think, those times were very interesting back then when they.
Yeah. What was life like back in your day?
I'll tell you this: we went outside a lot. Not always by choice either. It was like, get out of the house, go play.
Oh, okay.
No, we just go play Fortnite. Come on.
Yeah, no, it's go to your room and play games.
Go log on and see what your friends are doing. No, I'm just kidding.
True. That's these days.
I know. I'm just being cheeky, of course, but yeah, it's very interesting stuff. Yeah, life was different.
BI before internet. The fourth color said.
That should be the new timeline right there.
Oh, true. Yep. I agree.
AI and BI. After internet and before. You know what you would find, though, if you were to do that and look at everything like that? You would find the information and knowledge growth just geometric, I'm sure, compared to what it was like before when it was, just penning letters and chiseling stuff on tablets. It was a very, very slow. And then all of a sudden people could communicate and just boom, this whole explosion of development just happened in our cultures.
Oh,
and I think, honestly, not that this is necessarily related to the show, but I think also that's part of the problem of our modern age is that we've got all this ability, but we never really learned the balance of it and how to have a balance in life with this incredible opportunity to reach out and just touch the world. And so, of course, there's plenty of idiots online, and there's plenty of amazing, knowledge being shared online. There's good and bad. And I remember when chat rooms first came out, there were so many marriages were just suddenly, boom, done. Because, I mean, literally, like I all of a sudden when people started getting the internet, I remember so many people I knew were just like suddenly, not going to be married anymore. It's like, oh my God. But,
jeez.
It's just the ability to have these other connections suddenly then, and people didn't know what to do with it. But
another problem that we're facing is before there was not enough information on certain subjects, but now with the internet, there's in a sense too much information where people are arguing which information is correct and what's bogus and what's this and that. So it's kind of we're kind of facing an opposite problem to what we were facing before.
Yeah, well, there is that, but there's I think throughout history there's been bad information. That's not a new phenomena, but it certainly is. There certainly seems to have been, the ability to kind of weigh information probably more in the past than now, because it's readily available and anybody can say anything, and so. But I don't know. I don't want to get into that discussion necessarily, but
that's a deep one.
That's a loaded one right there. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty wild. I don't know how we got onto that from there, but I'll tell you what, folks, that is going to conclude our journey into the news. Hopefully you enjoyed that and learned something new. All right, let's get back to the rest of our exciting journey tonight. Skadoosh. I've got to find some kind of sound effect that's like equally as long as that intro. So so that I can keep it playing. Otherwise, I got to keep hitting the applause button to fill it up for the TFR people. Otherwise, it'd be just dead air for them. Then that's part of the with the way we broadcast, or the way that I broadcast. A lot of the sound effects that you guys hear, of course, they can hear too, but on TFR, iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. But some sound files and video files, they would hear nothing. That's why it's hard for us to cover videos and things like we might do on Wednesdays. We can't do on Friday, Saturdays. So there's the first break. We're going to be right back, and we'll continue the journey after these messages for those of you on TFR, iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. And after this little video interlude on YouTube, we'll be right back.
You got to learn to put love.
Hey everybody, we're back at it here on the Paranormal Portal as always. Thank you so much for being here. So some of you guys may not have been here last night when we kind of covered a new feature that we're starting to use here in the portal, and that is to tie into the Discord community. So if you have Discord and you aren't aware of it, the Paranormal Portal has a Discord as well. And so what we're doing is posing a question in one of the conversation threads on there and to discuss on the next live show. And we posted another question last night for tonight's show, and we got some responses. Sheldon, do you want to read that question?
Absolutely. Last question of the week. The Mandela effect is known due to the subtle changes in history, culture, and other aspects of our reality. Do you think we have jumped to another dimension, or does the Mandela effect indicate we are in a simulation and these are clues? Or do you think these can be dismissed simply as issues with our memories?
Okay. And
so
we did get some comments there, and of course you guys can comment in the chat here now if you want to weigh in on that as well. But what were some of the responses we got?
So from ZX81V2, we have the game programmers kept tweaking the game scripts. The next DLC should be fun. That's right. It's all a game.
It's all a simulation. Yep, absolutely. And it's not even what am I trying to say? There's a lot of people that believe that this isn't really the reality that we exist in, and that we are actually, I don't know, wired much like the movie The Matrix. So who knows if there's some validity to that. I will say that actually, what was it? Rick and Morty had an episode when they went to this one alien or future place, and they basically would put on this headset, and it would just be a matter of maybe 30 seconds. But for the person with the headset on, they would live this whole robust life full of all these incredible experiences of everything up until their dying day, and then boom, they were done. And then they pop out, and it was really a profound thought. Did you see that, Sheldon?
Yeah, it was a video game in an arcade in this alien. Yeah.
And it kind of made you think, wow, is that kind of potentially what we're experiencing right now? Are we just sitting in some interstellar arcade with a headset on and having this experience? And it's like, wow, that
screwed me up. Yeah,
that it does. I mean, those are some pretty amazing things. Or, I mean, I'm not suggesting that there's a machine world and we're batteries, much like, the theme for the Matrix. I don't think it's it's anything like that. I mean, it could be some other intelligence that's decided to plug us in for whatever reason, or we could be those other intelligences just experiencing this, or maybe that's just a metaphor for the spirituality of living life and then, re-emerging into this, realm of spirit. I don't know, but great possibility. But what's the next one?
Next one is from Carl Munsinger. Carol, I'm sorry. I actually really like this explanation, but she says, I'm not sure how to explain it, but it's like the veil is thinning, and this is causing lots of strange phenomena to start to happen, including Mandela effects, maybe overlapping of dimensions instead of jumping to another one.
Yeah, that's interesting. And there's certainly, I think, plenty of possibility for that to be the case as well. And there's no wrong answers. Anyone that has submitted an answer, your point is just as valid as anyone else's. But I think it is possible. I do believe that we're in a period of transition right now, and I don't know how long it's been going on, but I know that in 2017, and that's when I started talking about it on the show. So it was like, something is going on, and it's huge, and it's profound, and it's so important. And on my show back from 2017, you'll hear me say, I really believe whatever this is a time when we'll be telling our grandchildren that we were there, that we experienced whatever this is that's going on or whatever we're going through. And I don't know where that came from. It just was just this sudden epiphany, and it was like, oh my God, this is really an important time. I don't pretend to know what this time means, but I hope that it means that we are progressing, maybe energetically, maybe vibrationally, that we're emerging to a better version of ourselves Is it vibrational and like frequency? Are we raising in vibration? Some people have theorized that we're coming into the fifth dimension now, and I couldn't possibly know, and it gets really hard to process mentally what that means, but I don't know. I've had a feeling like that.
No, I agree, and it could be an explanation. Could be an explanation why things seem so crazy in the world right now. Why wars are breaking out left and right, and now there's another one that could be happening with Taiwan and all that. And I mean, who knows? Maybe this is affecting everyone in some way.
Right. Well, I do believe that there's merit to that idea, at least on many levels. And could that then, as these transitioners are happening, could that create these artifacts of things like, I remember just being so blown away by some of the Mandela effect stuff, like, wait, it's the lion lays down with the lamb. It's not the wolf laying down with the lamb. And things like that. I remember seeing quilts knitted by old ladies in the church that I went to that would depict the lion laying down with the lamb, and now suddenly it's the wolf laying down with the lamb. It's like, how does that possible? But if it certainly could be, if it's an emergence of some kind, or some quirk of reality that as we are going through this flux. But yeah, that's very great possibility. But what's the next one?
All right, next one is from the fourth color. I go back and forth on the Mandela effect. I'll remember things differently too, like the Berenstain Bears versus Berenstain Bears. But I was only a kid when reading those books, so I could have remembered it wrong. I know there are a lot of other weird examples too, and I just wonder if lots of people are collectively remembering things wrong. I don't know. People always want to link it back to CERN, C-E-R-N.
Yeah, that's the particle collider.
Oh, I see. Okay, putting us into alternate realities, and I just have to say that I'm not sure either way, LOL, but I will still pay attention to the differences. Oh, that's an interesting idea. That what if that caused a chain reaction?
Right. Well, and that's been a theory that's bouncing out there. Maybe it is some side effect of smashing particles at the speed of light. That's maybe that's not a good thing to do right where you live. I'm just saying. If they want to do stuff like CERN, they should do it like in space. Maybe would be a better place, not necessarily in the dirt around communities and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. There's so much that we can't know with that, but that's crazy.
Oh, it's interesting to think about, though. But from the chat, and that's the last one from the Discord, but from the chat, Rachel Gets It Right says, if we're part of a simulation code, could us, an advanced enough code, create changes via CERN and thus create the Mandela effect? I think that goes along with what we were talking about.
Yeah,
right?
and certainly, and that's where it gets really hard to know. And again, there's no wrong answers. So any of these could be just as valid as any other ones, and they're all profound. The ramifications of it are incredible. But yeah, Maggie says, I remember the lion too. It was a lion. I know that's the part that's freaky, is like, how does that happen? Because, the Berenstain Bears, there's so many of them. And the mirror on the wall, or magic mirror on the wall, and it's little subtle things mostly, but
true.
But here's the thing: a lot of people that are skeptical to that say, well, no, those are just memory defects, and if it was a person, I would say okay, but whole segments of the population remember it differently. And that's not a memory artifact anymore. When whole cross sections of populations remember the other way and swear by it, can they all have the same memory defect? Is that possible? Now, again, that to me is more profound than us jumping to another dimension. If suddenly everybody or most people can have the same memory defect, that doesn't make sense to me. And I don't pretend to be educated or so profoundly aware that I can speak to that, but it just seems like a huge leap to say, well, that's just memory defects, and it's very common. Memory works like so-and-so. Well, maybe it does, but I don't pretend to think that we know enough about the operations of the human brain anyway to even be making real profound statements of fact like that either. Well, we don't understand how the brain works for the most part. I mean, they may understand that neurons travel through these neural networks and create thoughts and stuff like that, but I don't know. It's a very profoundly it's really disturbing actually, but
yeah, it is like things being changed under our nose type of situation.
Yeah.
Susie to anyone says, Sheldon likes songs. I thought they said, give me the Beach Boys and free my souls. Want to get lost in your rock and roll.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember thinking that too, but that was because I think that's just because I didn't really pay attention to lyrics except what it sounded like. But I give me the Beat Boys. Give me the Beat Boys to free my soul. Yeah, very strange. Don't get started on misinterpreted song lyrics. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Funny. But yeah, thank you guys for those of you that did participate on the Discord. And if you're not already part of the Discord, did you put a link in there, Sheldon?
I will put a link in now so anyone can join.
Surely. Because we love us some Discord community. And I'm keeping it open now again. I had shut it down for a long time due to having some computer problems, and I was trying to trace where the problem was coming from, so I was just removing variables. And then I just didn't turn it back on for a while, but I'm on there all the time too. At least I'm referencing it and looking to see if anything's going on. But yeah, check out the Discord if you haven't already. If you have a Discord account, if you don't have one, get one. They're pretty easy to make, and we'd love to have you get involved in the community over there. So hey, what's the good word? Well, the unknown. We were just talking about Discord, actually. But the questions of the week, there's 3. So going forward, there'll be 3 questions posted. Probably, the long-term one will be the Wednesday because there'll be many days. And then the Friday will have a couple days. But the Friday to Saturday one will be a quick turnaround. Because I don't think posting all 3 questions at one time will work out because it'll be this jumble of answers. There's no real good way to organize it, I don't think, unless we created 3 groups for that, and that's going to get to be a mess.
Yeah.
So we'll just post them up there. Keep watching for the questions of the week. It's one of the threads in our Discord, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on these questions. And if you have a question that you'd like to see asked in there, please, let us know. We would love to, take your suggestions. Thank you. That word was just gone from my head all of a sudden.
It's okay.
Yeah. So anyway, very cool. But we appreciate the participation. And again, it's over on the Discord. So if you want to get involved over there, and there's lots of great information that's being posted by active chatters over there. And I like to post like the slapped ham videos and the nukes top 5s and stuff, because I think those are awesome to just watch and see what you think. And I don't post them because I believe that everything they're showing is legitimate, or even much of it is legitimate, but it's a great discussion thread, and it's really cool to watch those things and to hear people's response to them. So, I'm not one of those people that enjoy people go, oh, that's just fake, and that's all they offer. It's like, well, why though? What are you seeing that's fake? What are you catching there that makes it not believable, other than the fact that toasters don't usually fly? I mean, that's a good start, but it's not really enough to go on, because we talk about all kinds of strange phenomena here on the show. And so if you're seeing something, if you have some other angle on it, I'd love to hear it, because basically I think it's cool to, as a group, go through those. What do you like? What don't you like? What's sticking out to you? What do you think is potentially legitimate? And I think that there are some potentially really legitimate videos on those. But I think a lot of them are, well, really, so, but check it out. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, people posting articles, to people just having conversations. So we'd love to see you get involved on the Discord.
Yeah, it's okay to disagree with us. As long as you explain why, just so we can have a conversation, talk about it. Because, I mean, if you think things are BS, I'd even love to hear why you think they're BS.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've told this story before, but there was this one image that was posted on a Bigfoot group I was in years ago, and I looked at it I'm like, what the hell am I seeing? And some people are saying, well, it's, it's a Bigfoot and because of this, this, and this. And I was like, God, I don't see that, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I don't think that that's what it is. And so I kept looking at it. I kept checking the thread to see what people said. And it wasn't until a hunter got on there and he said, oh, that's a white-tailed deer and it's in this pose. And then he took the image and started, highlighting parts of the deer and showed what it was. And as soon as he said that, I was like, that is it. And then you could see it perfectly. But before that, it was just like, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. It's like this weird mass of fur. And once he pointed out what he saw and how he saw it, I could see it then. And he was absolutely right beyond a shadow of a doubt. But it was because took the time and said why it wasn't what people thought it might be that, I learned and it helped me to see it. So that's what's my purpose for wanting to hear what you're seeing and what you think is wrong, because it can really help me see it better. So,
yeah.
All right. We're going to get to some more of the paranormal fun that we love so here on the portal. And we're going to head to an article that I found. This is a good one. It's one we're going to be probably reading. I know it's not extraordinarily long, but it's probably going to be more than just tonight's show. I do want to say on Wednesday night, make sure you tune in because we have a guest joining us. On Wednesday night on the Paranormal Portal, we are welcoming Sarah Bignell of Yowie Central. She's out of Australia. She's just a wonderful person. She's been on the show before. We had a great talk. She's going to be joining us on Wednesday night so we can get into some of what's going on in Australia, hear more about the Yowie and what's been going on. And she's also a member of AYR, Australia Yowie Research, and has been long a part of that group and hearing reports from actual observers of the Yowie phenomena. So she's going to be joining us on Wednesday night, and looking forward to that. So please tune in, be a part of it. Again, that's Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. YouTube only, as a matter of fact. So there won't be commercial breaks and stuff either unless we want to take one. But that'll be Wednesday night coming up. But right now we're going to go to Thought Catalog. And this is a discussion thread that I always enjoy because I think there are certain areas of our world that are just so much more charged for psychic and paranormal energy, one of which is hospitals. Hospitals see the entire spectrum of human emotion, agony, suffering, joy, sadness, pain. There's all these incredible psychic imprints on hospitals. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that there are these entities. Maybe some of them were people that didn't make it and don't really understand what's going on. Maybe some of it is other entities that were never human, but somehow feed or subsist on that psychic energy or the imprint of the area or any number of possibilities. But the article we're going to discuss right now is from Thought Catalog. It's 23 doctors and nurses share the paranormal stories that make me believe every hospital is haunted. And again, this name comes up a lot in these articles. This is Emily Madriga again. It was last updated from January 3rd, 2022. And I will say this, that, we do sometimes see repeated stories. I do my best to try to make sure we're not just repeating the same stuff, but there is a finite pool of paranormal on the internet, and sometimes the same stories will be repeated through many threads. So if you hear a repeat, it's not intentional. I'm not just recycling stuff, but I know this is the first time I've ever seen this article. So if we get a repeat, my apologies, but it's just that they get printed all over the place. So let's get into this, again, by Emily Madriga from Thought Catalog. And the first one is Parking Lot Ghost. A staff member was sitting out in her car during night shift when some woman who knocked on her window and quickly disappeared. The next day, she was discussing this out loud with the oncoming shift when someone pulled out a picture from old files based on the description provided, and apparently it was a match to a former patient that had passed away at least 10 years before that staff member was even hired. Whoa. Ooh. Just lingering like that, huh? You gotta wonder. I mean, are they potentially in a state of confusion? They just don't know what's going on, or are they stuck, or what? That's just incredible.
I really hope that's more of an imprint. I mean, for that soul's sake, like imagine just wandering for years and decades and decades. Oh man.
But here's the thing that I think that it probably isn't, and I could be wrong, but it is interacting with the present. I mean, it's knocking on the car window and then boom, disappearing. So it's like it's like,
true.
It's it's not like it's just walking a certain path and then different people will see this walking a certain path. It was like whatever this entity was targeting that person, in my opinion, for that, not necessarily to be horrible, but maybe it's a practical joker type of person or something. But
That
very
could be.
interesting. That was by 88th Coward. All right, the next one is called Sweet Justice. Did a rotation in a burn unit, and there's tons of stories that go around, but I'll share my favorite. Oh, this is horrible. This is a tough one to read. A pimp lit one of his ladies on fire, and she immediately bear hugged him and caused them both to suffer pretty severe injuries, and unfortunately, hers included an inhalation burn. They both were being treated in the same ICU, but on opposite ends. Weeks later, she ends up coding and passes away. And after about 30 minutes, as things start to quiet down, the guy starts screaming from his room, "Get her out. Get that woman out of my room." And apparently she went to visit. Not the exact language of the story, but that's the version I'm reading. That was by My Dog Operates Better Than You. That's funny. Well, yeah, I guess she had probably good cause to go visit him and make his time horrible.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, here's the next one. We got about 4 minutes before the hour break, so
Oh my God.
right, it just goes quick. Sometimes they aren't really dead. There's probably some medical explanation for this, but still, the weirdest thing I've seen as a nurse so far. We had a very robust, confused old lady on our floor. Her room was in front of the nurse's station, so we could keep an eye on her, and had one of our nurse's aides as a sitter too. She was always fighting, kicking, trying to get out of bed. Very restless and agitated, as some patients I've had before can get before death. One day we were called into the room as her heart rate was going down, and she lay still with her eyes open. It was 30, 20, then flatlined. We checked for a pulse and did not find any. She was a DNR, do not resuscitate, so we did not attempt resuscitation. We close her eyes, prepare to get the body bag, and call the family. The sitter remains in there to start getting the body ready. Just less than 10 minutes later, she calls us back in. The old lady's at it again, hitting, kicking, trying to get out of bed. She came back to life. Honestly, we found the situation hilarious, and I still have never seen any patient come back like that on their own. I think she made it out of the hospital, too. That was by Jesus Crust. That name
Guess
came up.
she changed her mind.
That name came up before on a story where some people were agitated because that was the name of a sandwich at some deli, and people were all upset because they named their sandwich Jesus Crust.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not into blasphemy or anything, but that is kind of cute.
Yeah.
All right, let's see this one. Yeah, I can read this one. We got 2 minutes. Little Girl Omen. I've worked in a small family-run nursing home for 6 years as a nurse aide. It was an orphanage before it became a nursing home, and unfortunately, before being shut down, the orphanage had a history of severe abuse and neglect. Unfortunately, it's not gossip the owner herself has told us. When residents get close to death, they always see a little girl. One of my patients, a very alert gentleman, he knew all of our names and was very alert and oriented. He was passing dinner trays and saw that he had his back turned and was talking and laughing in the corner. I knocked and asked him who he was talking to, and he chuckled and said, "This little girl came into my room. She was scared." He died 3 days later. About 6 months later, had another patient screaming about a little girl grabbing his feet, and she needed to leave. leave him alone. He died that night. She's come up over the years. It's always the same thing. They see her and then they die. Other coworkers have had the same experience. It's very unsettling. Wow. So she's become an omen of sorts, yeah, a portent of impending doom or death. That was by
I guess so.
Piper 151. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Okay, we're going to leave it there because we are about to go to the hour break, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back. If you're joining us, we are simulcasting on the network, so we have to take breaks with the network. But we'll be back in just a couple minutes and continue on our journey into the Paranormal Portal. We'll see you in just a couple minutes.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. But I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken I am finished with my silence. I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness. Just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise. You're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity. Just make sure that you're well fed. But I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet.
This looks extraordinarily bad.
They think they're in a perpetual dream state, a nightmare from which they cannot wake. I can't see you, Honey. Where are you? I've never sensed anything Diane is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that's different from themselves. Her life force. It is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Wowza. The time goes fast, ladies and gentlemen. 1 hour down, and we're into hour number 2 already. So just starting now. Wow. Just crazy.
Always is.
Always is. But that's okay. I mean, if it goes slow, that means something's really not going well.
True, actually. It's a good sign.
If this was grinding out. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But no, it always goes quickly, and glad to see you all that are here with us. If you want a shout out, type something in the chat, because we'd love to say hello to you personally. But Sheldon, who's here?
Well, for now, we got Batman, Christian, Leah, Maggie M10. You're here.
Kirsten.
Nina's here. Kirsten, Leah. And Portal Mom, Rachel gets it right. Ron the Sage, I'm here, and Susie to anyone.
All right.
And
Maggie, did you say
Mr.
Maggie?
Manhattan, Ghost Magnet 81. That's all I got.
Yep, it's Dr. Manhattan.
What did I say?
Mr.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. It's okay.
That's a disgrace.
No, call it doctor.
Oh, we got Sean Rush and Red Harvest. Welcome.
I know Ian Magic Oak's here as well. Or Magic Oak.
The Unknown.
Yeah.
There we go.
The Unknown. Don't forget you. We can't forget you.
Yeah, never.
The Unknown has been a long time friend of the show, and he's actually developed a few of the video assets that you see every night the show is live. And there's others he has integrated and made, but I haven't finished them up personally and put them on. But there's one of the DeLorean, which is really cool. The Back to the Future DeLorean. It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen that one. That's
I've
right.
still got it, and I got to get that done. What? Oh, what?
Oh, I missed Tracy Gale and Raspberries.
Raspberries, good.
And Raspberries.
Very good. Raspberries. Of course you, for sure. Thank you for being here. All of you, it's amazing. And to have all you friends continually come in and be a part of the shows. And special thank you to our members on the YouTube channel. We appreciate that a bunch. We appreciate all of you who come in here to watch the shows. We appreciate your likes and comments on shows that you're watching that are not live. They do a whole bunch to help us with the YouTube algorithm. So anything you can do, we really appreciate all your love and effort and all the supports. There's so many great comments, and it's just awesome to read those and go, wow. I've really made sure not to let it go to my head too much, because I mean, it would be easy to really start thinking I was something incredible, because those comments are just like, wow, these people are amazing. So thank you for all the love you guys give us. What is that? Red Harvest just popped in. That's a new name. How you doing, Red Harvest? Thanks for coming in. Great to see ya. All right, let's get back to this list. Currently, ladies and gentlemen, we were just starting to cover an article from Thought Catalog. And it is doctors and nurses share the paranormal stories that make them believe their hospital is haunted, that every hospital is haunted. written by Emily, or compiled by Emily Madriga. These are aggregated articles where they go to Reddit and start farming threads and stuff. But they do a great job. The stories they're picking are really well done. The next one up was she had to explain to him that he died. And let's get into that. I should mention the phone lines are always open as well. 720-923-0500. If anybody's got something to say, you are something incredible. Aw, thank you, Ghost Magnet. You guys are so sweet. That's awesome. All right, she had to explain to him that he died. A ward I worked on once had a patient who was a psychic medium as a patient. We had a bit of a laugh with her as she was on the ward for a while. She had a stroke, which affected her mobility, and she would do readings for the staff, etc., from time to time. I took it all as just a bit of fun until one evening when she pressed her nurse call buzzer and told us to go check on a patient in a side room as he was dead. We went to check and sure enough found that the gentleman had died. Later on, we asked our psychic patient how she had known, and she told us that she had seen him coming out of his room, obviously distressed. She realized he had died and had to explain to him what had happened, and helped him pass over and go to the light. Now, I'm not a believer, but she gave me the creeps, or that gave me the creeps. That was by
that line.
Smack Max. Yeah, I'm not
You have
a
an
believer.
amazing experience, but I'm not a believer. It's like, oh my God.
Well, people do desperately cling to their paradigm because there's a security in knowing your world. And when things like that happen, it just redefines so much. So I'm not a believer, but there's this one weird thing. So they just compartmentalize it as this one anomaly. But,
yeah.
I think there's anomalies all over the place. We're just not maybe as aware of them. Maybe many people don't want to be aware of them. Here's one called Touched. It says, I was working at night and one of my patients died while I was in the room. We tried everything to revive this person, but it didn't work. So after doing the papers and everything, I went to another place in the hospital, and I swear to God that this patient who I saw dead touched my right arm. And I think I have never cried that much in my life. I wonder, how does she know? Did she or he, did they see the apparition as well? I mean, if it was just a touch, that's a physical sensation. And how do they equate it to being that person? So did they see the apparition? There's a lot we don't know there. But anyway, that was by Gala Galaxy. Gala Galaxy. Okay.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
All right. The next one is called The Haunted Floor. I work in a pediatric hospital and I'd always heard that the fourth floor right outside our oncology unit was haunted. I work 312s normally, but would pick up overtime and picked up a night shift. I was working in the NICU, which happened to be also on the fourth floor, but on the opposite side. The oncology unit had a staircase that was a short cut down to the cafeteria, which was on the second floor. At about 3 a.m., I was ready to take a short break and wanted a cup of coffee from the cafeteria, so I decided to take that staircase. I walked through the automatic double doors and saw a kid skipping down the hall. Well, I called out to him as I was afraid a little kid had snuck out of a patient room, and as soon as I called out to him, he turned and in the blink of an eye, totally vanished. A lot of other nurses and docs had seen that same little kid skipping in that same hallway. Of course, I chalked it up to just exhaustion and didn't really think about it much after that, but you were damn sure I didn't use that hallway at night ever again. That was by AGF 0605. Again, if other people saw it, then it's not just your exhaustion, right?
God, people's excuse is just to keep on to that little security. Yeah, everybody else says they saw this kid. Oh, I saw this kid, but nah.
I was just tired. I was just tired. There you go. All right.
Oh, people.
Here comes one that's kind of in line with the comment we had talked about earlier. The veil is thin. Back when I was a paramedic in Oakland, I was taking care of an elderly gentleman in the back of my ambulance. He looked up into the upper corner of the ambulance and said, "It's okay, Lulu. I'll be with you soon." His daughter was with him and told me that Lulu was his wife who died 20 years earlier. A few minutes later, he went into cardiac arrest and passed on. That was by Henry R.N. Wow.
Wow.
So that seems to be a phenomenon that happens a bunch, though, when people are right on the cusp. They are visited, and I think that's beautiful, because, I mean, sometimes you hear stories of people passing, like that old man from the psychic story. He passed, but obviously there was no one greeting him. I mean, nobody was there to go, hey, come on, Phil, we're gonna head on over and play some poker. There was nobody there for him, so he was just in the state of what's going on. I don't like this. What's going on? And distressed and confused. But I then you hear stories like this where it's, oh, hey, Lulu, I'm coming soon. Looks like I'm ready to roll, which I think is beautiful. But I wonder why that same grace isn't experienced by everybody that passes. That makes me feel kind of sad for those people that nobody was there to bring them home.
But then again, according to that story, that psychic was there at the right time.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, she just happened to be there. And maybe that was the grand design. Maybe it was meant to show these doctors and nurses that, that there is a lot more going on here. But yeah, that's crazy. Little girl ghost is next. And there's a little girl who haunts the burn unit of a large military medical treatment facility in the U.S., and she's been seen by both staff and patients. Haunts may not be the correct term, but she's been witnessed by several. That's what, JCC 7089? Huh.
Yes.
So, I appreciate what he's saying there, because when you say haunt, when that something haunts an area, it's like haunting is a very negative term. But it's a presence that's there. And I appreciate that person saying, that might be the right term, because nobody's really, freaked out and terrible. Well, maybe freaked out, but nobody's scared for their life because they saw this little girl. But yeah, that's sad. Again, it's hard to understand how they linger or why they linger, but that's the odd part of it all.
Earlier Rachel had I forgot to read it out, but Rachel had a point that she said that maybe ghosts take the form of little boys, little girls, because maybe it takes less energy to manifest, type of thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe. So maybe that's why that's a comment at, like, and it's not as threatening. So maybe if you're a guide, like let's say these children in the hospitals are guiding people who pass away.
Sure.
The least threatening thing would be a little girl, little boy, whatever.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. That's it's not an intimidation at all.
Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan says, Asian culture doesn't have a fourth floor. In elevator also, it's our 13th floor. Oh, okay. I did not, I don't think I knew that, but it does kind of sound familiar now that I've read it. Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Wow.
Yep. Awesome. Very cool. Love it when you guys participate. Mm-hmm. Let's see. That was the burn unit one. Okay, here we go. Pastoral care knows what's up. Well, this is a very short one. We've actually had a room sprinkled with holy water several times by our pastoral care due to the amount of deaths we've had in that same room. That was by Big J Rich. Wow. So, yeah, is it the room? I mean,
a cursed room?
Yeah, you wonder, right? That's.
I mean, if it happened enough times, even I might suspect something. So
yeah, then you make that the storage room.
Yeah, just change.
That just becomes the storage. Then you put boxes of stuff you're not going to need much, and you leave it alone. That's horrible. Here's another one. They linger. I worked as a med tech in an assisted living facility, and one day, a resident, I'll call her Margaret, suddenly passed away, and her family left all her belongings in the room that night, including her pendant, to call for help, the staff for help. The next night, Margaret's neighbor called the staff because someone was talking in the room next door and keeping them awake. We brushed the resident off, knowing that Margaret's room was empty. About an hour later, Margaret's pendant started going off from her empty apartment. I was the only one willing to go turn it off, so I walked into the room. And it was freezing cold in the middle of summer. The air conditioning was off. Suddenly, the bathroom door slammed as I was turning off the pendant light. I locked the door and ran back to the nurse's station. We forced one of our older male staff members to go check out the entire room, and he claims the door was still locked when he got down there and that nobody was in there. Wow, that was by Kayla C-J. Okay.
Now that's a haunting. Yes.
Yeah, that's a creepy haunting. Now, maybe she was not happy somebody came in and she was in a state or something. I don't know. Maybe that is weird though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oof.
I always wondered why the freezing cold thing happened, but I always kind of assumed that it was like, I mean, when things heat up, it's because there's more energy in the atoms and they're moving and there's more energy type of thing. And I'm guessing when it gets cold, is something is sucking the energy out of the surrounding air to do something.
That's the belief, is that spirits will draw from the environmental energy, including heat energy. And, maybe there's merit to that because, of course, cold spots, seeing your breath in the middle of summer is, widely reported in paranormal encounters with spirits. So that would be horrifying. I have experienced cold spots before, not so much that I could see my breath, but cold spots and the tingles going up my skin. It's like, oof, something's around, but never to the point where I was like, ooh, this is really drastic. But, there's been some pretty incredible reports of that. The ghosts wear gowns. One of the rooms we have is obviously having something of a haunting. A man in a gown gestured one of the techs to come in. She went in and he was gone. 1 week earlier, a female patient was asking to get a different room because a man wouldn't leave her room. She just thought it was some sort of delirium, or we just thought it was some sort of delirium. Multiple others have seen him too, and that was by Savage Amalia. Wow. The ghosts wear gowns. Yeah, you wonder why do they linger? Again, it's hard to say.
Gotta be, some of them have to be stuck.
Well, again, I think in most cases, or again, this is just theory, but I think people choose. They see the light, and with a lot of cultures, we believe, that believe there is a form of judgment that you're going to have to go weigh your life, weigh your existence out, and decide what kind of eternity you have. And, maybe a hospital room looks pretty good when compared to hell. It's like,
that's true.
I know I was a jerk. I was a real dick. So I'm going to stick around here. It's possible. I think it could be fear. People don't want to face that possibility. And who can blame them if you didn't live the best life and that you were kind of a jerk. And then you may be like, taking a lava bath for the rest of your existence.
Oh God.
It's like, well, yeah, I'm good with this closet. That's good.
Yeah, true.
So no, there you go. That was by Savage Amalia. Yep. Okay. They mess with the lights is the next one. It says, I'm a labor and delivery nursery nurse rather. Mostly it's call lights alarming from rooms that are completely empty. Sometimes it would coincide with the APX, the time of death on another unit, or be the anniversary of a fatal demise. However, my creepiest, we have a button to push after a delivery to play a lullaby over the PA system announcing a birth through the hospital. One night, no one was even in the same room as the button, and the lullaby started playing. It did that twice, and then we unplugged the entire thing. It still went off once more that night, and again a few days later, despite being entirely disconnected. Yeah, that's really creepy. That was a few years ago, and no one ever heard it do that before or since. That was by Drunk on Sushi. That's an incredible phenomenon, that even unplugged electronics can still be triggered. So
has that ever happened to you?
I don't think I've ever experienced something unplugged coming on. No, that's one of the things I've never experienced, and probably good too, because that's one of those really creepy things. It's like, how much energy does this thing have if it can actually trigger electronics? Like, I imagine it would have to use its own energy or their own energy to do it. I mean, I think most spiritual hauntings or presences probably aren't operating on a whole bunch of energy. You know, they might just be, maybe they're just fragments of the people after they passed on. You know, I've thought about that a bunch, and that's more philosophical and but what I think might be the case in some of these is that we have different aspects to us. We have the good part of us and the charitable and the wonderful, and then we have the jerky part of us. Everybody's got a little jerk in them. I mean, it's just human nature. But maybe when that time comes, only the divine or wonderful parts of us are able to transfer into the next world. And how you live your life decides whether that's most of your consciousness or not much of it. And, whatever's left then lingers. And I wondered about that. So if these are, pieces of people rather than huge, full consciousness, you know what I mean? And so,
yeah, I see. Like, it's a fragment of yourself that was left behind, even though you, the conscious you, or however you want to say it, is already gone. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting idea or thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Again, I think about this stuff all the time, and because it's always been just such an incredible fascination to me. But what if that's the case? I don't know. So we got the next one is malevolence, and this is, let's see, we got 4 minutes. Yeah, we should be fine here. This is an odd experience. I'm a nurse in the PACU, and was on call during a big snowstorm. I didn't want to drive home and risk getting called back in, so I stayed at the hospital that night on our little couch in our break room. I dozed in and out throughout the night, but I got caught in some state between wakefulness and sleep, and I swear to God, I felt this malevolent being in the room with me at one point. It was super dark and just felt anger from it, like this unbridled hatred and rage. It was so heavy it was palpable. I almost felt like it was jealous I was alive. Anyway, it came down on me, on top of me, and pretty much collapsed through me. And I just heard it cry in seething anger. Then it was gone, and I was fully awake. I've had sleep paralysis from time to time, but this felt different. And I have never felt such hatred from anything I've come across in my life, real or conjured. The cliche part here is that this happened around 3 a.m. That's Lucid Zealot. Again, 3 a.m. for some reason energetically is a real profound time. Some people equate that to the Trinity and a mocking of the Trinity, but I don't know that that's really it. I mean, it might be. I don't pretend to speak with any authority on these things, but I think it has to do something with the energetic biorhythm of our daily clock. And perhaps at some point, in the night at maybe 3 to 4 a.m., which is the witching hour, some people refer to it as, maybe it's just easier at that point for these entities to come through fully. And I don't know, but yeah, that's really crazy.
Wow.
I can read this one and then we're going to be at the last break, but it says, hey, this is probably going to get buried, but I was a nursing student up on an ICU floor. I was hanging antibiotics in my patient's room when I heard an audible, hey. Well, I turn around and there's no one else in the room. Mind you, my patient was intubated and sedated, so there's no possible way it was them. It was a woman's voice so I thought it was my preceptor. I don't know what that means, but
preceptor, yeah.
Do you know what that means?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I've heard the word before. That's all I know.
All right. Well, I go back to the nurse's station, and I asked my preceptor, so it must be a supervisor or something, if that was her in the room trying to catch my attention, and she told me no. And I've never seen someone's eyes get so big. Apparently, the room I was in has the most paranormal sightings, I think they meant to say, and activity out of all the rooms in the unit. Sightings as in shadows sitting in the corner of the room, voices being heard, and curtains being flung violently across the railings. No one ever told me about this room prior to my preceptorship, so it just added to everyone's beliefs that it was haunted. AF. The That was by Hella Clogged. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like maybe it's from across the pond or somewhere where they have the term preceptor. But yeah, that's pretty intense, dudes.
What is across the pond?
In Europe or, Australia or somewhere.
The ocean's a pond now? Okay.
That's not my term. It's been around forever.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've heard. Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. I trust you.
Hold on. Okay, we're going to... Don't do that. Don't do that. We're going to take the last break, folks. We'll be right back in a couple minutes for the last half hour. We're going to get into some creature reports and whatever else we have time for. So don't go away. Still more of the portal coming up.
Initiating the truth frequency.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
gentlemen, welcome back. It is the last segment of our show tonight. This will be the culmination of an entire 2 hours. And we have 25 minutes left to fill your heads with wonder and amazement as we continue through the Paranormal Portal. And right now, let me see. Yeah, we're going to go to this. There's no calls, so we're going to go to a few creature reports from phantomsandmonsters.com. Again, this is a site that we cover quite often here on the show, and it's run by Lon Strickler, friend of the show, and he is the curator, the creator of Phantoms and Monsters. It's just one of those sites that has been a pillar in the paranormal Fortean community for ages, and it's just very cool to have the opportunity to know Lon and to have had him as a guest on the show and to work with him in that regard. And special thanks to him for letting us peruse it for some fodder to discuss on the shows. It's also, Phantoms and Monsters is also a podcast, Phantoms and Monsters Radio, as well as Lon as a published author with several titles under his belt. And they've been doing some pretty cool research, especially on the winged humanoids, the Mothman type of creatures, as well as the Dogman and several others, and Bigfoot and so on and so forth. They're definitely into the cryptids. So let's check it out, and we'll see what you guys think. The first one up on our Festival of Fun here from Phantoms and Monsters is, let's see, this one. Giant black hyena-shaped mass encountered by Romanian soldier.
Whoa.
Yeah, right? I like these too because, you know, of course, those of us in the U.S. are acutely aware, those that are interested are acutely aware of the Dogman and Bigfoot reports from around here. I mean, we hear about them from several sources, but I like these other things that are reported around the globe because could the hyena-shaped mass also be a Dogman or some variant of it? Probably.
That's what I was thinking, actually.
Yeah. Now, I will say about the Dogman that oftentimes they are cited with having not a real elongated snout, a rather shorter snout that is not quite long like a wolf's, but they have other features that are very canid as well. But so could that come off as like a hyena? And also what people report is like some kind of tufty, possibly mane like on the back and into the shoulder area. So could that also be perceived like a hyena? Yeah, I suppose.
So kind of like different variations of Bigfoot, there's probably different variations of Dogman.
Right. And that's very possible. But let's check it out, folks. Giant black hyena-shaped mass encountered by Romanian soldier. It says a Romanian soldier on guard duty hears the guard dogs growling, and he then observes a huge black mass shaped like a giant hyena leap into the bushes. He has a later encounter as well. It says the following account was forwarded to me. I'm from Romania. I was going to say Romania. like I'm a local or something. Sorry. That's just the way my head works. And I don't know if you will read my post. My English is not that good, but I hope someone will read this, what had happened to me many years ago. This is my story. I was in the Army. The year was 2003, at the end of September. Me and another soldier were guarding a big deserted hangar. We were supposed to make 4 hours each. Guarding, that is. When one of us was guarding 4 hours, the other was sleeping. My colleague was on duty and I was asleep, and suddenly I wake up like I had a bad dream. I was sweating. When I look at my colleague, he was fast asleep, poops.
Oh, no.
Snoring.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The time was around 2 a.m. in the morning. At 4 a.m., I was supposed to start my shift, and anyway, I started to try to remember what I was dreaming. Why did I wake up so confused and sweating? Then I heard a noise outside. I rushed to see what was happening without thinking to wake the other soldier. I looked around, and at a distance of 30 meters, there was this pack of dogs, which they were from our company, who were barking at something behind a small hill. So I rushed in that direction to see what was happening, but when I get close, I heard a growl, and all the dogs, 7 in total, freak out and run away. I stopped walking towards them. I was wondering about what it could have been. At one moment I was thinking that I was still dreaming when 2 of the dogs come near me. It was what can be called the alpha of male and female dogs of the pack. Their look was like they were in need of help. Honestly, I was thinking of going back to the other soldier and tell him what happened, but my instinct told me that I needed to find out what that thing was. So I started walking with these 2 dogs when suddenly I saw it. About 10 meters in front of me, there was a black mass, like a semicircle, 2 meters long and 1 meter high. I stood there baffled for a few seconds, and then I talked, my mind was crazy at this point, with my dogs and said, "Go, let's see what's over there." And she, Girly, like it had understand what I was saying, went to that shadow and started barking at it, real close. After a few seconds, that mass rose up, and Girly ran away as fast as she could. Although it hadn't touched her, now this shadow was standing in 4 feet, like a dog and not a human, on 4 feet, okay? It turned around, hopped over a bush in 2 seconds. It was massive. It looked like a giant hyena, long front legs and short behind legs with a small tail at the end. The head was also that of a hyena. All of it was black. After some time, when I just stood there wondering what I just saw, I come to my senses and came back to the other soldier. I told him what I saw, and he didn't believe me. But he agreed to come with me in search of that thing. We searched it together, this time with all the dogs present, but didn't find a thing. Before we go, we called the HQ to inform of what was happening, of what I saw. The response was that I just saw a boar, and I needed to leave it be. After that, me and the other soldier went back to our post, and he went back to sleep, but I could not forget that figure. So I went outside again, although all my instincts said not to do this, and again, all the dogs were nowhere to be found. Just the alpha dog, the male, Spike. He was worried, but he had confidence in me, so he tagged along. We walked about 100 meters away from the post, playing with rocks. I threw them, but he would bring them back. Everything was normal. That black mass was nowhere to be seen. Maybe it was just my imagination, I started thinking. At one point, I threw a rock as far as I could so that Spike would go in search of it, and I wanted to get back to my post, but then it happened. When I turned back, that thing was there, behind me, less than 5 meters away. Now I could see it more clearly, and although it was still a black mass, it was about my height, 1.7 meters, with long ears, like a donkey. That was the first thing that I noticed. More massive than a dog or a boar, that's for sure. The body, as seen in the dark from front, looked like that of a horse. Other than that, I couldn't see any characteristics. No teeth, no eyes. I was like in a trance, trying to communicate with that thing. It was unreal that was happening. And I said to myself that it was my imagination. Then Spike came along. He just stood there beside me looking at that thing, like he didn't know what it was or what he needed to do. Then I don't know what came over me, but I shouted as strong as I could, and it simply vanished. It simply vanished. Wow.
But it's his imagination.
Well, so is it an ethereal thing? Is it a physical thing? There's no talk of footprints or anything like that.
Yeah, like you said, it was a black mass. So, I mean, it was dark, so I mean, maybe he's just describing that that it just looked like a black mass because there was no light. But
right.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is. The fact that it just vanished is bizarre. Wow.
Ethereal makes me think of order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would seem to be spiritual, I guess, at that point, but I don't know. There again, that's the woo of the cryptids. What is it? Are they multidimensional? Do they just pop back in and out or what? I don't know. Very cool, though.
Oh, like you said, it No, he said it disappeared. Yeah. It would have to be.
It would have to be, but very cool story. Let's get to the next one. We have 2 more to go. So the next one is Bigfoot observed chasing dairy cow herd in Washington Parish, Louisiana. Bigfoot observed. All right. A southern Louisiana man described his encounter with a Bigfoot while delivering newspapers on the back roads of Washington Parish. The creature was chasing a herd of cows across the road. Oof. I recently received the following account, and recently this is August 9th, so it's very recent, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Bigfoot do exist. I saw one in southern Louisiana near Bogalusa, Washington Parish, in 1978 while on the back roads. No streetlights on that same road sparsely dotted with houses. It was an old shack-like bar with wooden posts to support the awning, which had a horse tied up in one of the posts. Lots of horses know where their barn is, so you don't have to tell them how to get home. It was around 3 a.m. On a weeknight, and it's been a long time, but I was taking the Century News, if I remember Slidell's newspaper name correctly. Pages to be printed at Bogalusa's newspaper print plant. They'd print the newspapers, then I'd bring the bundles back to Slidell to drop off at delivery kids' homes and fill up newspaper stands. I'd have to look at an old map maybe to figure out the back roads I took from Slidell to Bogalusa. I never went on the freeway, and this was during landline phone days. I was just doing the road limit or less, and when out of the pitch dark came running from my left to my right a small herd of 7 or 8 black and white cows. The van wasn't new, and the headlights had that yellowish tint to them, not terribly bright as today's headlights. As I slammed the brakes, bundles of newspapers started shifting. The van was full at stacked to the roof, up to back of my seat. But I kept my eyes on the road as I didn't want to hit them. That'd be like hitting a bunch of deer. I could clearly see that these cows were running scared. Then I saw the upright whatever it was. I was sure it was not a cow, running with them. This bipedal creature's arms pumping as hard as he ran. I saw clearly its side view as I was pulling up to the side to stop. There was no sidewalks or curbs, just road, dirt, weeds, rocks, grass, etc. I was in the sticks, and it was tall enough that I could see it from above the waist to over the cows' top of their backs. So how tall are cows, and then estimate its height. It didn't look my direction. Its face was humanoid from the side view with no prominent nose, just a bump. I'd be viewing it from its right. It appeared as a light color, not dark. I mentally reran thinking about it while restacking bundles as they were all gone. Long disappeared into the dark when I went into the back of the van. It was clearly bipedal being, most likely a Bigfoot. I was close to swamp country near the Gulf. Obviously, it was just flowing, long-haired body running with no clothes. And I assume it was male as I could see its chest and arms were moving. I could see no mammary glands.
Yeah.
These cows were running scared, and it kept pace right up there with them. I don't know how fast cows run, but
I was thinking the same. How fast are I didn't know they were fast, to be honest.
Yeah, they can. I mean, they can run, but I don't know to what degree. Are they like 15 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour? Are they all the way up to 30 plus? I don't know. They don't run a lot, I don't think, but I think they can move. So whatever it was keeping up with them. Huh.
Wow.
So there you go, a Bigfoot report from Louisiana from the 70s. Wow.
It was in swamp country, so it actually would make sense.
Well, I mean, Bigfoot or anywhere makes sense for them. They don't have like boundaries or anything where they aren't. They just seem to be everywhere, wherever they want to be. But you're right. They are certainly sighted.
As long as it's not like wide open country type of thing,
But even then, people have seen them crossing huge plains and stuff. I think they like to stick with, the cover of forests and rivers and such. From what I understand, they tend to stick near waterways oftentimes. I don't know why, but I imagine because it's water and they probably need some. But yeah, cool story.
Oh, wait, it was 3 a.m., so yeah. So they could be anywhere then, that's true.
Yeah, it wasn't broad daylight, so...
yeah.
The next one is an interesting one. I haven't read it, but I saw the headline. I was like, oh, this looks interesting. It says, Bigfoot to human communication explained by experiencer. So how many times have we heard stories? Of course, mind speak comes up all the time, but there are reports of them using words. There's First Nations legends of tribes actively trading with them to some degree, which you would think would require some sort of communication, but how do they talk? Do they know language? I don't know. Let's see what this says, because I have not pre-read this. It says, in Alberta, Canada, experiencer describes their encounter with Bigfoot and how it communicated with them. This was in reference to an article I recently posted about Bigfoot and lost time. I recently received the following account. Hello. I just read your article on the man who had missing time, and I found it interesting because my Bigfoot encounter up the road from my place was a super positive one. I even had a conversation with the Bigfoot. He speaks in images, but I'm used to that because I think in images and had to learn communication. I didn't speak until I was 5. I'm a weirdo, and I'm not afraid of a lot of stuff, seen lots of crazy stuff over the years. Anyway, I was shown that Bigfoots are protectors of ancient facilities or sites, Earth-specific bloodlines of humans and stasis pods, which explains why the nuclear physicists would have been hated and then screwed with. He's been involved in some pretty shady crap, and it's obvious because of the fact that he knows and has experienced Bigfoots entering specific facilities. Bigfoots camouflage a lot because of us, and it's genetic, not technology, caused, and they can naturally affect frequencies, and this is why the hallucination plus the texts. Our phones are all in waves, which are frequencies, and he showed me that many Bigfoot are sealed into areas long ago, but the beings he was guarding had left about 10 years ago. Also to note, the park up the road where the Bigfoot was that I communicated with has land owned by none other than Queen Elizabeth. It's her personal property, which was gifted to her by our premier in the 1970s, when he had also created many parks here in Alberta, Canada. Every park seems to have some weirdness, as you know. Also, there are giant mounds in the park area, but not in the Queen's area. Bigfoot showed me that he didn't go into that area. If you walk all through the park, you will see trees ripped up and some upside down, but he lets me forage and leaves me be. No missing time, and my dog is always fine. Many people in the area have seen him, and he's alone, and many avoid the park because they have had bad experiences. Maybe if people were not douches who disrespect nature, then they wouldn't have a problem. They are very simple, but they see into you, and if you are immoral, then watch out, and that guy is lucky he came back. But clearly they want people to know because they have been making it more obvious why they show up. The government would also be able to see them and can be right in your home, and you would never know. They are pretty powerful creatures who communicate telepathically with images and not words. So now I tell you this because I'm just pointing out the obvious with that guy that you wrote about. Anyway, have a great day and hope you find what you're looking for. Stories like that are a very big departure from the norm, obviously, and it's hard to know what to do with them. And I can't possibly say no, this is right or this is wrong. I just don't know. It is hard for me to wrap my head around a lot of claims like this. Is it possible? Sure, it sure is. I would think so, because many people have done the mind speak, and while he's saying they communicate in words, there's many people that have had mind speak that they hear words in their head, and I suppose it's because thoughts are just pure energy, right? And we translate them into words as a part of our brain. That's how we communicate. So, but basically they're energetic formations. Thoughts are, information or desires or wants or complaints or whatever. And so becoming the word, I'm sure, happens in the mind of the people experiencing it. But,
Yeah.
could they communicate in images? Well, maybe for this guy, because that's how he communicated. That's how he said he didn't talk to his 5, and he just sees images and then makes words.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
My thoughts exactly.
But, I don't know. I'd love to believe that these are some wise, nature protector. I think that's a real romantic idea. I don't know if that's true. I don't know that I subscribe to that personally, but I like the idea. But can I say that I subscribe to it? No. I don't know what these are. I don't know why they are. And I don't pretend to know these things. But it's another take on it. Take it or leave it. That's, the scope of the show is never to be to, you guys should see it this way. That's never going to be the scope of the portal, because we just don't know. There's no way anybody can say absolutely perfectly factual statements like this is what it is. This is why they are. This is everything. We just don't know. And that person believes they know that's their reality. Now, I think we all have our own realities. I don't necessarily subscribe to this reality, but I respect that it's this person's reality.
Yeah.
And so that's as fair as I can be with it. But, what do you think, Sheldon?
I mean, assuming this is a genuine encounter and genuine in that way, then, I mean, who am I to say that, wow, that's really weird, you're probably wrong, if it's genuine interaction, then I guess that's his interaction. It's that it goes against a lot of what's been, I guess, experienced by a lot of other people, but who am I to say? Kind of like you're saying, I can't really say like, oh, you're wrong. That doesn't do anything anyway for us. So
right.
I guess interesting take. Very interesting take. That's all I can really say.
Yeah. I think so too. I don't begrudge people having this opinion. I know it's comes from deep left field for a lot of people. There's a lot of people that would say these are some relic hominid or primate of some sort, and they're intelligent enough to stay hidden. But are they supernatural? Well, it's hard for people to grab onto that. But then again, ghost stories have been around for all of civilization, and people still don't believe in ghosts, even though there's millions and millions of people experiencing it. But
and especially those people that say, I had this really weird experience, but I'm not a believer.
Yeah, I don't believe in ghosts, but this one time, it's like, oh, how do you get through that and not? I don't know. Now, I've not communicated with a Bigfoot that I'm aware of, and if I had the experience, I could sign on to this more readily. But do I accept it on faith? No. But do I think it's possible? Sure. I mean, I don't pretend to know what is possible and what isn't, and it's not my place to say either way. I respect that this is this person's belief, and they might be right. They might be wrong, but they might be right too. So I don't know, but I think we're at the tail end of our journey here tonight, folks. So
oh my God.
Yeah, it goes quick, doesn't it?
Every time. Yeah.
Every time, Sheldon. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time. A lot of great stories, a lot of great discussion with everyone. I mean, that's the part I love the most is, I know it's the same thing you say, but it's true. I do feel the same way. That discussion with everybody in chat and people who answer the questions in Discord, like, I love those insights. I really do. I love going down the rabbit holes.
Mom says, thanks for this wonderful show, honeys. Good night and love to you all. Good night, Portal darlings. Aw, thanks, Mom. Good night.
Good night, Nina.
Thanks for being here, as always, and thank you all for being here and being a part of the journey. As always, we hope that you'll continue to come in and check out the shows. If you're new, we'd love to see you get subscribed and become part of the family. We do these shows Wednesday, Friday, Saturday night live here on YouTube. So if you want to be a part of it, that'd be fantastic. We'd love to have you here. We also have a podcast. Some of you may not know that. You can find the Paranormal Portal podcast on all the major players, like wherever you find Sasquatch Chronicles podcast. Just do a search for Paranormal Portal, and you should see us there as well. I'd love to have you check out those shows. Those are quite a bit different than the YouTube show. The YouTube show is more of a variety show, but the podcast is more of interviews with experiencers. And I had some great discussions, got some great episodes coming up for that. So hope you check it out. Again, Pandora, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, CastBox, and a bunch more. So check it out. We'd love to see your support there as well. So I don't know. That's about all we got. So get involved in the Discord, please. We'd love to have you join our discussions over there as well. But remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night, everybody.